What's going on, guys? Welcome back to WWE Network and Chill, where I, Graham G.S. Matthews, break down all the original content I watch on the WWE Network as well as on the USA Network. As today we're talking Season 2, Episode 8 of Straight Up Steve Austin, featuring Charlotte Flair. Now, this was the Season 2 finale, having aired after Raw on Monday night, but we will not be at a shortage of shows after Raw for long on USA, as I think Miz and Mrs. comes back the night after WrestleMania. So Miz and Mrs. is airing new episodes right after Raw on Mondays, just like it used to air new episodes after SmackDown on Tuesdays, when SmackDown was still on USA. So that's pretty cool. So that's only about a month away. So these reviews are going away for a while, but I will be back with my Miz and Mrs. reviews when that season starts up again in about a month. So I knew that Charlotte was going to be on the show. Obviously, they advertised all the guests months ahead of time. But I thought this was a really good episode, and I thought it was one of the best episodes that they could have ended the season with, just because she was one of the most anticipated guests for WWE fans. We got to know her a little better than we do on WWE TV. Steve picks her up on the beach, I think in California. I'm pretty sure that's where they filmed all of these episodes, though I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, he picks her up on the beach, and she talks about how she loves the water and how she always kind of grew up on her dad's boat, so she was always on his boat. And now she's a Florida girl now, having lived there for the last several years, being a part of NXT and now the main roster in WWE. She talks about doing sports and how she quit volleyball after her 20th birthday. And that was always her big passion, was sports and volleyball and stuff along those lines. From 20 to 27, she didn't really have a passion until she found wrestling. And she talks about finding wrestling WWE, and obviously her dad did it, but she only did it not because of her dad, but because of her brother Reed, her younger brother Reed, who wasn't doing all that well at that point, which I believe would have been 2012. I'm pretty sure that's when she was signed. So he wasn't doing too well, and she thought that by getting into WWE and doing wrestling, it would motivate him, because he always wanted to be in WWE as well. He grew up wanting to be a wrestler. So she thought by doing it and showing him that she could do it, then he could do it too. And it would get him back on the right track. Unfortunately, he passed away before that could happen. They even told her, like, hey, if we hire you, that doesn't necessarily mean we're going to get Reed a contract. And she's like, yeah, I know, but I'm hoping that by getting a contract, it'll motivate him. Unfortunately, he passed away in 2013 before that could happen. But she talks about the Row being a character shift for her and how it kind of helps her stand out amongst all the other women, and how she kind of struggles with her confidence level sometimes, and how before she goes out to the ring, and even this most recent run, coming back at TLC in December, she wonders to herself, am I still capable of greatness? Am I still capable of going out there and being the Charlotte Flair that people know and are used to delivering on a high level? But that all goes away, all the nerves and the confidence issues goes away when she steps through that curtain, and she becomes Charlotte Flair, the character. So they ride around in the water, she and Steven, like this. It's not a boat. It's like, I thought they were going to go underwater, and they kind of do for a little bit. It's like this shark painted, it looks like a missile, to be honest with you. They're inside of it, and it goes super fucking fast. It goes up and down. It's just wild. So they're riding around in the water. I would be terrified. Charlotte does not seem the most comfortable, but she also seems to have enjoyed it as well. While they're in this boat thing, she talks about getting booed as a face and vice versa, and she'll get booed when she's supposed to be a fan favorite, and then when she's a great heel, she'll get cheered. So, she just tries to be the best version of herself that she can possibly be. And then when they sit down to have some food, she and Steve talk about her fiance, Manny, I believe is his real name, but obviously WWE superstar Andrade. She acknowledged his WWE name as well. They talk about him and whether she knows any Spanish, which the answer is no. She knows zero Spanish, despite having dated him for a few years now, which I thought was kind of funny. They talk about, like, a lot of miscellaneous stuff, like the nickname that her dad had for her, like Winky, something like that. So they talk about the origin of the nickname that Rick gave her, her relationship with Becky Lynch, all this other shit, and how her and Becky are kind of on the same level. They want to be the top dog, but they're there to support each other and that type of thing. So now they can be the top, Becky Lynch isn't around right now, but they can be the top dog in different shows. So it sucks to not have her around to travel with, but it also allows her to be the top of her game on her own show. You know what I mean? Steve also asks, like, how much of Charlotte is Ashley? And Charlotte said, well, Charlotte kind of turned into Ashley. I was more of a character, and now I'm kind of turning more into my everyday persona. Not everything she does is herself. She kind of puts on a front on the show, obviously, for obvious reasons. But she's become more of herself and become more comfortable in her own skin portraying this character and whatnot. She talks about how long she has until she retires, and then that's something that she thinks about. I mean, she's still very young, so hopefully not anytime soon. But she says that if she wants to have kids, which at some point she does, she's going to have to take time off, a lot like Becky Lynch is currently. You know what I mean? When that time comes, and it could be at any point, she's getting older right now, and that's something I guess that she not worries about, but thinks about, because people ask her about it all the time. It's something that's always on her mind. Is now the right time to do it? Will she be able to do it later on? That type of thing. They talk about Stone Cold's acting career for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe Charlotte. I know she was on that Punky Brewster show on Peacock. I'm not sure if that had any. I kind of went in and out here in terms of stuff they were talking about, because they went through just a plethora of topics in a very short span of time. But then they do this one final game of horseshoes at the very end, and Charlotte talks about the watch that her dad gave her. Now, I don't know if it's the same watch that Shawn Michaels gave Rick after his retirement match at WrestleMania 24, and he handed it down to her. I'm not sure. I don't think so. But it was a really meaningful gift that he gave her at one point to kind of pass it down. So I thought that was cool. But yeah, they play a game of horseshoes. Charlotte wins decisively. And as a result, Steve has to do 35 push-ups. So I thought this was a good episode. Again, if you're not the biggest Charlotte Flair fan, if you're a WWE fan, I would give this a watch. Absolutely. Especially if you're a Charlotte fan. But even if you're not, you kind of get to see a new side of her, get to know who she is outside of the ring. She seems like a really, really cool person. We kind of got to know a little bit of her backstory, why she got into WWE, a little bit about her brother, and some of this stuff is already public knowledge in the sports and whatever, but, she talks about Andrade and Becky Lynch and retiring and a lot of important topics, so it was kind of like a mini podcast within 22 minutes if you don't count commercials, but yeah, these episodes are always a fun time, and I've said that before, all these straight-up Steve Austin episodes with people I've never heard of before, from Luke Combs and people like that to people that I do know, like Ice-T and Tiffany Haddish and Joe McHale and now Charlotte Flair. This has been a really good season. All 8 episodes have been great. So I'm going to miss the Straight Up Steve Austin show airing on USA Network after Raw. But we do have Ms. and Mrs. coming back next week. So I don't think a third season of Straight Up has been announced yet, unfortunately. Hopefully it will. I'm not sure how it's been doing in the ratings, but I hope it comes back for a third season, just because Steve always brings the best out of his guests, and it doesn't matter whether you know him or not, or what the fuck they're talking about, or what even they're doing. It's always a fun time. Steve has some really wild interests between, shooting and hunting and driving and all this other stuff. Some normal things, I guess, for most people, but cutting up meat and shit like that. Some of the stuff they've done on the show throughout the season has been very weird, but also a lot of fun. Steve-O they had on, he was a fucking wild man, so, yeah, I've enjoyed the season. This was a good episode. This was a great way to cap it off, and I'm very glad they saved Charlotte for last. But yeah, check out this episode right now on USA Network, or on the app, or wherever you find USA Network shows. Thank you guys, as always, for checking out these reviews. You can like the video, drop a comment, share the video, and subscribe to the channel for more daily content. Hit the bell button as well to be notified every time a new video goes up as well. We are well past 5,000 subscribers as of a few weeks ago. I appreciate you guys for that. Thank you so much. I am still planning to do a 5,000 subscriber celebration video at some point. Not sure when that's going to be or what form it's going to take, but at some point, hopefully, we can do that. But yeah, there's always a lot of content coming here to the channel pretty much every day, definitely every day. But we have new interviews almost every single week. This week alone, we've had Adam Cole. ODB will be up at some point from Impact. That isn't up already by the time I put up this video. That will be up at some point. We also have a star from the Young Rock show, which was really cool, portraying his Rock's college years. That's going up, I think, early next week. So a lot of interviews, shows like this. I get to review like Ms. and Mrs. and Straight Up Steve Austin and stuff like that. Q&A videos, WrestleRant radio excerpts, and so much more. So if you're not already subscribed, what the hell are you waiting for? Please do so. I would greatly appreciate it. Have a great weekend, guys. I'm Graham G.S. Matthews, and I'll catch your ass down the road.